times of sickness and in times of health. I'm going to rejoice in times of joy.
Find refuge, find strength, and find peace. Bethesda Temple, the home of grace.
I have made the choice to rejoice.
Tested his faith. What I like about Habakkuk and what is commendable about him is that he took his problems to God and then he waited for God's answer. The problem that precipitated this interchange between Habakkuk and God was the wickedness that he saw all around him. It was, to say the least, bothersome to him. He referred to his vision as Massa, a burden. This is how he summed up what he saw going on in his nation, a nation that was supposed to be holy unto the Lord. He said, the law has become ineffective, and there is no justice in the courts. The wicked far outnumber the righteous, so that justice has become perverted. His question was basically, how long would God allow this perversion to continue? He didn't have to wait long for an answer. God's answer was very swift, and he said, in effect, even now, I'm raising up the Babylonians as my rod of judgment. Now, for Habakkuk, this answer only led to more questions. The main one being, how could God use such a wicked nation to punish his people? But by the time God finished his reply to that question, Habakkuk understood that Judah was no better than the Babylonians that God would use to judge them. And before it was all said and done, God would judge those Babylonians as well. But after all of this, Habakkuk leaves us with a song of praise and with a declaration, a resolution to praise God regardless of Judah's precarious state of affairs or regardless of his own personal circumstance. In a very short time, he went from doubt to certainty. He moved from question to affirmation, and he shifted from protest to praise. And what really intrigued me is that he had not received any promise from God that things would get better. He was not assured by God that things were going to change. He only heard a rebuke from God. Yet he wrote, although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall be fruit in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the field shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. It was as if the prophet were saying, regardless of my condition, I am going to give God the praise that he deserves. I wonder how many of us feel that way today. I know I'm going through something, but God is still good, and he still deserves my praise. Perhaps Habakkuk remembered and meditated upon the words of Israel's greatest praiser, who wrote, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. When David wrote that, he did not qualify his praise. He didn't say, I will bless the Lord when times are good. He says, as long as I have time, I will bless the Lord. Regardless of what the times call for, or regardless of what is going on, I will still bless the Lord. As long as I have life, as long as I have breath. As I considered the words of Habakkuk, I had to engage myself in an exercise of investigation. I wanted to know why, when everything seemed to be falling down around him, the prophet was able to rejoice. And mind you, this was not a grudging praise. It was not a resentful approbation. This was a joyful acclamation. Consider again how Habakkuk said he would rejoice. First he said, I will rejoice in the Lord. The word that is translated rejoice is the Hebrew root alaz. Alaz means to jump for joy. He also said, I will joy in the God of my salvation. The word joy there declines from the Hebrew root gil. Gil means to spin around. I want you to catch this, because if you put the two together, rejoicing and joying, jumping for joy and spinning around, it sounds very much to me like dancing. It is as if Habakkuk was saying, I'm going to dance. Regardless of what is going on around me, I'm going to dance. I will dance in the midst of my sorrow. I will dance in the midst of my suffering. I will dance in the midst of my sickness. I will dance in the midst of short supply. Regardless of situation, regardless of circumstance, I am going to celebrate. I am going to rejoice. I am going to bless God. In short, I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna put on my glad rags and dance my cares away. I'm gonna dance. I'm not going out of here crying anymore. I'm going out dancing. One thing I've learned, crying doesn't change a thing. Crying does not amend my circumstance, nor does it alleviate my troubles one iota. But some